Good morning, boys and girls. It's hard to believe that this is our final Sunday here in this church building. Peter thought he should change up his shirt today and wear a bus shirt from a while ago. I don't know if you boys and girls remember when we had a blue bus, a green bus, and a white bus, but Peter and I will refrain from arguing on camera about which bus is better. But anyways, boys and girls, we are excited about the move and the exciting things. We're looking forward to what we might do next week when we're in the new building, hoping to kind of have some fun when we record with that. Yeah, it's huge, Peter, that's right. So it feels like forever ago, and really it's probably been a month, that we talked about the life of Joseph. So boys and girls, if you want to take your Bible, open up to Genesis chapter 44. That's where we're going to be this morning with the life of Joseph. So we had talked about the last time that we talked about Joseph, and I might goof and say last week, and we all know that we talked about Easter last week, so you just have to be a little patient with me on that one. But thanks, Peter. The last time that we talked about Joseph, his brothers had to come back to Egypt. They were coming to buy more food. They had brought Benjamin along, and then it was a little nervous for them because they went to eat well, we know it to be Joseph, but they didn't know it to be Joseph's. They went to eat with Joseph, and they had gotten seated by birth order. And they hadn't told Joseph who was how old. And then when the food got brought out, there was more food for Benjamin. And the brothers, yeah, he's the baby brother. The brothers were a little nervous about all of this. Well, they are getting ready to leave, and that's where we pick up today. Well, Joseph had told one of his servants, he said, I want you to put my silver cup into the bag of the youngest brother, into Benjamin's bag. He'd indicated which one was Benjamin. He said, I want you to put the silver cup in there. Now I want you to return all of the money that they've paid and put that back in the tops of their bags. Now, the brothers weren't supposed to know about this, and they don't, so they start traveling back. But remember, boys and girls, this had happened the last time, and the brothers were really nervous, and they'd brought the money back, and they tried to pay. Well, they go on their trip. They start along. Things are great. They're excited. They're going home. Benjamin is with them. They have the food that they need, and Joseph lets them get a head start. And then he sends one of his servants after them. He's like, you need to go after them. They stole my silver cup. And he's like, okay. So the servant, he goes after them. He catches up to them in the desert and he stops them. He's like, stop. And they're like, okay, what did we do wrong? And the servant says, you stole my master's cup. He's been so good to you. Why would you steal it? And the brothers are thinking, we didn't steal it. They are so confident that they did not steal it, that they actually told the man, you can kill the man who stole it and take the rest of us as slaves. They were just that confident, okay? I don't know if you boys and girls say cross my heart, hope to die anymore, but it's, pinky swear, it's kind of, sort of like that. They were so confident that they didn't have the cup that it didn't matter to them what they promised. Boys and girls, they didn't know they had the cup. Well, they line up there. The servant starts checking bags. He starts at the oldest one, nothing in that bag, goes to the next one, nothing in that bag, keeps checking bag after bag, finally gets to Benjamin, opens it up. Yeah, Peter, inside the bag is the silver cup. The brothers are devastated. What? The cup is in Benjamin's bag? We said that he could be killed. Now, the servant, when they had said that, the servant had told them, no, we're only going to take captive the one who took the cup. So they're getting ready to take Benjamin. The brothers are so upset. The Bible tells us they ripped their clothes to show their mourning. They're upset, not mourning like morning and night. Mourning is in sadness. To show that they'd ripped their clothes, and they got on their donkeys and they'd headed back. They weren't sending Benjamin alone. They were all going back. Well, they get back and they go in and they talk to Joseph. And again, boys and girls, they don't know who Joseph is. They don't know that it's Joseph. They just know that it's the second command. And he says, why? I've done you nice things. Why would you return mean favor? And he again says that the one who had the cup is the one who's going to be in prison. And Joseph's testing them. He's trying to figure out, have my brothers changed? Are my brothers still so jealous and angry like they were with me? Will they bring my father more sorrow, or have my brothers changed? Remember, his brothers threw him in a pit. His brothers sold him. His brothers lied to their dad about what had happened to him. His brothers were not kind by any stretch of the imagination. And Joseph wants to know, based on how they treat Benjamin, have they changed? Well, Judah, the one who had sold, actually been the one to initiate selling, I just lost his name, selling Joseph, is the one who's like, wait a minute. Okay, he's like, I need to talk to you. And he tells Joseph, he says, I need a word with you. I need to talk to you. And he begs and he pleads. He says, you need to keep me instead of Benjamin. If you keep Benjamin, our father, basically he says it will kill our father. You will send him to the grave. And as they're talking, and Joseph realizes how much his brothers have changed, he gets overwhelmed. He gets emotional. He can't hold it back. And he sends his brothers out. He leaves the brothers there. He sends his servants out. Says, servants, leave. I just need to talk to these men. And he just starts crying. The brothers are kind of nervous. They're like, what's going on? Like, we're here because of a silver cup, and now he's crying, and they're a little unsure. Obviously, they're still very nervous about what punishment is going to come, what is going to happen to them. And Joseph says, I'm Joseph. This is the first time he's spoken to them in their language. He has been speaking through an interpreter, and now he has revealed who he is and is speaking in their language. Can you imagine how those brothers felt? How those brothers who had thrown him in a pit felt? How those brothers who had sold him into slavery felt? Or what about Benjamin? Benjamin wasn't a part of that. And now he gets to see his brother again. If you were the other brothers, though, besides Benjamin, if you were Simeon, if you were Judah, if you were Reuben, how would you have felt knowing what you had done to Joseph? And now Joseph sits on a throne and can do anything he wants to you. Yeah, they're scared. That's right, Peter. They're terrified. What is going to happen to them? Is Joseph just going to say off with their heads? Is Joseph going to imprison them? Is Joseph going to sell them into slavery just like they had done to him? What is Joseph going to do? And Joseph asks, is my father still alive? Joseph's concern is for his father back home, and he finds out his father is still alive. He assures his brothers that he is not going to punish them. All is forgiven. He doesn't hold them guilty. And he says, it wasn't even you who did it. He says, God had a plan. God wanted me here in Egypt. God has used me in Egypt. Can you think of it, boys and girls? What did God use Joseph in Egypt for? Do you remember what's going on? What's the whole reason that the Israelites are there? That's right, Peter. There's a famine. God had used Joseph to save the food, to be the one to interpret the dreams that led to saving the food so that they wouldn't starve in the famine. Joseph tells his brothers, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. God took even what they had done wrong, unjustly treating Joseph, and God turned it into good. God can do that for us, boys and girls. Now, that doesn't mean we go out and mess things up with our lives and then say, oh, God will fix it. No, that's not the idea, boys and girls. The idea is that when we are going through a rough time, we can rest in the promise of Romans chapter 8 that God will work all things together for good. We can rest in the fact that we know God forgives us. Joseph was an example of forgiveness. Think of all that his brothers did to him. Boys and girls, I don't know all of you personally who watch, but my guess is that you were not treated like Joseph's brothers were. You may have encountered some very awful things. but I'm guessing it's probably not as bad as it was for Joseph, although it may seem like it at times. God gives us the power to forgive because he forgave us, boys and girls, just like we talked about with Easter. God, Jesus, came to earth, died on the cross, but he didn't stay dead. He rose again to pay for our sin. God forgives us of our sin. Who do you need to forgive this week, boys and girls? Who's treated you wrongly? Who said something unkind? Who do you need to forgive? I hope that you'll forgive those around you who hurt you. And I hope that you'll remember that if you're going through something that's hard, something that's difficult, that you'll remember, like it says in Romans chapter 8, that God works all things together for good. Boys and girls, you can talk to God anytime. You can pray anytime, day or night. You wake up thinking about the thing that's bothering you, you can pray about it. God will always hear you, boys and girls. Well, we hope you have a great week. We're looking forward to seeing you next week in the new building and have some fun with that.